Thank you, Mr. Dowd. In my home office, I've got a wonderful watercolour painting of the Lord's Pavilion, which celebrates Lancashire winning the Benson and Hedges Cup final sometime in the mid-90s. I know the Minister is a proud Lancashireman like me, but I would agree with him that whilst we want to see the days of Lancashire winning cricket tournaments again, none of us would want to go back to the days of Benson and Hedges sponsoring sports competitions. So I will support the Minister and the Government on clause 124, but I'm afraid on clause 125 I'll have to disagree with the Government. As already discussed, vaping and nicotine pouches are significantly less harmful than cigarettes, and in my view this clause opens inconsistency across the board. And I say that because sponsorship is currently permitted of alcohol and gambling, and in my view it doesn't make any sense for vapes to be treated differently. In response to some of my comments on the earlier substantive debate, the point was made that tobacco is uniquely harmful and is different in its public health damage than alcohol and gambling, but I'm afraid I don't fully buy that. And the way I would see this is I'd see them as a spectrum. So if you want to say to me that cigarettes are uniquely harmful versus alcohol and gambling, I'm prepared to believe that. But I'm afraid in tobacco and nicotine products and in gambling themselves, these things are a spectrum. So I represent Ascot Racecourse and Royal Windsor Racecourse. Ascot Racecourse is effectively the Wembley of racing worldwide, and Royal Windsor is very much in that top tier. And I find myself having to defend them quite often when people want to legislate on gambling, because having a cash bet at an event at a racecourse is a healthy thing to do as part of a day out. And that should be treated very differently to somebody on an online casino in the early hours of the morning or a fixed odds betting terminal. Gambling is a spectrum, and I would suggest to you that tobacco and nicotine products is also a spectrum. And I say this with sincerity, but I know that the Labour Party's seats spread much further than they used to, perhaps, but certainly Labour's core seats, which perhaps the Shadow Minister and the Chair represent, they will be aware. Yes, certainly.
Thank you, Chair. From a public health point of view, I would just like to point out to the Honourable Member that we are basing this bill on evidence, and therefore we are looking at the evidence of tobacco harm, which I think we agree on, that there is, incontrovertible evidence that tobacco is undoubtedly harmful, and that people should not start smoking tobacco, or we should assist those people who come forward to stop. In terms of vaping, I go back to a previous comment I made about the precautionary principle. There is evidence around vaping that there does appear to be some harms associated with vaping. There is not sufficient evidence right now to be incontrovertible about it, but it would be irresponsible not to take that precautionary principle that we use in public health. And just in terms of gambling, I would just urge him caution. Again, in terms of evidence, it may not be incontrovertible evidence around gambling, but there are undoubtedly health harms around gambling that we do need to look at moving forward. Thank you.
So I'll address I thank the Honourable Member for her intervention. Yes, I'll give way.